All right, today we are going to make some homemade chili. I've got two different groups of ingredients here. I've got from this side over, I guess from here over, I've got some of the basic ingredients that I would put in a bean chili. So I usually use multiple types of beans. I have black beans, garbanzo beans, red kidney beans, and then I put red pinto beans in when I have them, but I don't have them today. I've got crushed tomatoes and tomato sauce for the basis of the chili. And then I also have some diced tomatoes to put in there. You can use fresh ones as well. I have a green bell pepper, a jalapeno, an onion, and then I'll be using a little avocado oil, some garlic, a seasoning pack for chili. I have some sea salt and some cayenne pepper and cumin. That's kind of the basics. Again, you can use any beans that you want. If you choose that you like chili that doesn't have beans, then you can kind of go this direction over here, where I don't do a lot of ground beef, I do ground turkey. So I'm gonna use a pound of ground turkey. I also have some stew meat that I'm gonna cut up and put in there. We like to put olives within our chili, and then I also have some cilantro that'll go in there. So that I will add to, and we will have a meat and bean chili. But you can go one way or the other, or you can do both bean and meat. And then I always try to sneak in extra vegetables and things. Cauliflower rice is my favorite go-to. The texture and the consistency, I use this in sloppy joes and with the ground turkey, and no one knows the difference. I put it in chili, I put it in soups. So it just adds a little bit extra in the vegetable department and in the fiber department. But this is a protein-packed meal today. So I'm gonna get everything ready to get chopped up, and then we will get back. Okay, so we've got everything cut up and ready to start cooking. I'm going to put just a little avocado oil in this pan, get some in the other stock pot to start the vegetables. So this is the ground turkey I told you about. You can use ground beef. I prefer turkey. And while it starts to cook, I add about a tablespoon of garlic. So you're going to notice that it looks like I have a lot more ingredients. What I've got going here is I'm making a double batch. So everything that I showed you in the beginning for ingredients, I've doubled that. I'm going to share this with some friends. So I'm going to throw in an extra large onion and put in the diced bell pepper and the jalapenos and get those starting to saute. This is still a little frozen. So I'm going to let these cook up, and then we'll start the next step. Okay, so the ground turkey is cooked and chopped up nice and fine. The vegetables are getting that nice glossy translucent appearance to them. So what I'm going to do is add my ground turkey over to this pot. And then I'm going to quickly just brown the stew meat. I don't always put stew meat in it. I just happen to have some on hand. If I was making a double batch and didn't have stew meat, I would put extra ground turkey in there. But again, you can make this vegetarian. I'm going to season the meat just a little bit with some coarse salt. Now, I'm not going to cook this all the way until done, because it'll cook while the stew is, or the chili is simmering. But what you want to do is brown it, because that holds in the moisture if you brown the edges. And you'll notice I chopped it up into smaller pieces, so stew meat's actually pretty big. And so I just took a fillet knife and cut them up a little finer. Alright, that's good enough. Turn the heat off of that. We're going to add this back over here. Actually, for the sake of seeing it better, I'm going to move it to this burner. Now, this is my favorite stock pot to use. It's nice and big and I do soups in it, but the downfall is it is all metal and the handle gets hot, and usually it takes the time of me burning myself a little bit to remember to get the pot holder. Okay, that's probably stewing up the camera. I didn't think about that. So we'll move it over here. And you can see what that looks like. At this point, you're going to kind of put everything else in there. I'm going to add the seasoning pack. Now, depending on how adventurous you want to be to add some of your own seasonings, this just gets it started. I'm going to use some of the cayenne pepper and some cumin to add to this, but you're more than welcome to add 2 packs or just 1 to the whole thing. I'm going to add some crushed tomatoes. I like crushed tomatoes because it makes the sauce a little bit thicker. Also a can of tomato sauce. We talked about the diced tomatoes. And I'll stir that up a bit. Now when it comes to the beans, if you're using canned beans, you want to put them in a strainer and rinse them off. They kind of have a thick liquid that they're stored in, and I just put them in the strainer and rinse them off. And so like I said, this is a double batch, so this will look like an awful lot. But again, we have red kidney beans, garbanzo beans, and black beans. Takes a little elbow work to get this stirred up. But this will start to cook down, so it might look kind of thick right now, but as it cooks for the next hour or so, and you cook it just on low, I put it around, I don't know, 3 on a stove, on a range that has, you know, up to 9. You definitely don't want to put it on high, you'll burn it. But I'll let this cook down. Now, there are ways that you can cook this differently. You can put all of the ingredients in a crock pot, slow cooker, and cook it for 4, 5, 6 hours. The longer and slower it cooks, it's really flavorful. I suppose you could do it in the Instant Pot as well. And that's totally up to you. I really like to cook things on the stove. So we are going to let this sit. I'm going to, return to it every 10 minutes or so and stir it. I like to put a lid on, but without making too much noise. I'll find the lid and put that on and just tilt it so there is a vent to it so it doesn't overheat. And we will let this cook down. Like I said, I add a little of my own seasonings, a little cayenne pepper, and a little ground cumin. Gives it kind of a Tex-Mex feel. Again, you want to taste continually while you're cooking. So the difference is when you're cooking like meals for breakfast, lunch, dinner, you feel free to add a little of this and a little of that and try it. When you're baking, that's a whole different story. Baking is chemistry, and you need to follow the recipe very carefully, or the whole thing could flop on you. Okay, so we're gonna let this cook. We will get back to it in a little while, and I'll show you some different ways that you can serve this up. While the chili is cooking, we're gonna add one of our favorite side dishes, cornbread. I go with the super cheap and easy Jiffy cornbread muffin mix. I've tried other ones and I don't like them as much as this one. It's less than $1 a box, and so we always make 2 boxes at a time. And so the trick to this is don't mix it too well. You just want to mix it so the ingredients are turned over enough, but not super well blended like you would for a cake mix. So each box asks for 1 egg and 1/3 of a cup of milk. So I've got 2/3 of a cup. And that's it. So I'll break up the eggs a little bit. And just stir it up. Should have had a little bit bigger bowl. And so this will bake in an oven that is 400 degrees. It's about 20 to 25 minutes. When you are baking something, always go on the lower number of the suggested time and check it. You can always put it in for more. The only trick with that is you don't want to open it up too soon if you are baking something that could fall, meaning like a cake, a souffle, because a drastic change in the temperature could cause the cake to fall in the middle. So notice it's still kind of clumpy, and that's okay. That's just enough to have it mixed up. It calls for an 8x8 glass pan. You can use a metal one as well. Just grease the pan a little bit. You fold this right in. Now, something that I've always done with my cornbread is I drizzle a little bit of honey on top of it so it bakes in. You just shake it so it's even. And again, in a prior video I told you I like to use local honey. And so I just kind of drizzle it over the top. And in about a half hour, we'll have fresh cornbread and chili. Something I forgot before I stopped the camera on the last part is I did add my can of olives because we like olives in our chili. And then I did add some of that cauliflower rice straight to the chili. So then I take a knife and I just kind of work that honey through the cornbread. So it just has a nice little sweetness on the top, and I put that in the oven. You don't need to cover it, about 20 minutes, and check it, and then we'll be back. Okay, here's the finished product. We've got an amazing pot of chili. We've got cornbread out of the oven. We're gonna do a different spin on it tonight to try to get some veggies in. So you can do traditional bowl of chili with cheese, but we're gonna do a taco salad. So we throw a few corn chips on the bottom. Scoop some of that chili on top. Sprinkle a little bit of cheese. some lettuce, some more olives, some tomato, maybe a little cilantro if you like it. A dollop of sour cream, and call that a pretty good meal. That served with a side of cornbread. And you can use this chili for many different things, but this is one that we like to do. I also want to give a shout out to Josh over at URM. He donated some food containers for me that I can put some of these extras in and make meals for some of my friends who are nurses in the medical field, who are working really hard right now and are getting home late and having to take care of their own kids. So some of these meals will head out and feed some of those who are helping us while we are doing our part to be at home. So hope you enjoy. Give it a try. I think you'll like it.